Gone 9 AM. I'm at Freshford railway station, as you may see. I've just got the train from my local railway station in Bath, Oldfield Park. 2 stops down that way. I'm going to walk from here, Freshford railway station, to Bradford on Avon, about 3.5–4 miles that way. We're going to be following the course of the Stop Line Green on the GHQ line of defensive fortifications. We're going to visit 6 pillboxes, including hopefully a side-on view of the one I couldn't locate last trip, and I'll explain what happened on the way back. I thought I could maybe get there, but I didn't. There's going to be 6 pillboxes. Some of them will be viewed side-on hopefully. The others we'll hopefully get inside, or very close to anyway. And I'm going to finish in Bradford on Avon and go and visit one of the best preserved Anglo Saxon churches in the UK before I get a train back to Bath this afternoon. But along the way, hopefully I'm going to share this delightful scenery with you, the Avon Valley, and also some points of interest. One of them I only discovered recently, and it's this. I've viewed this artwork many times as we've come through the station. We often go down to Dorchester or Weymouth for the day. And I just thought, oh, nice bit of artwork. I didn't realise there was a story behind it, and there is. This painting is one in a series I am doing in memory of my son, Cato Heath, who died on 14th of December 2010, aged 21 years. I am doing one for every year of his life in places that were significant to him. This one in Freshford, where we spent many happy weekends and holidays, represents his 6th year, from 25th of December 1993 to the 25th of December 1994. Each square stands for one day. Some colours are symbols for events that took place on certain days, like physiotherapy or doctor's appointments. All the others are normal happy days. And there's a colour chart, look. I just found that really emotional when I read that. As I said, I've passed it many times on the train. Haven't been able to read the writing, just thought it was a local artwork. It was only when I came here recently to try and find the elusive pillbox up there, I read that, and it just really touched me emotionally. I wanted to come back and film that and share it with you. I've never recorded a walk on GPS before, so I've brought out one of my Garmin's. This is the Edge 130 Plus. I know I can use the Strava app on my phone, but I am told it's very battery and energy hungry. So once this picks up, hopefully, maybe up on the bridge there. Once this picks up, I'll press it, put it in my pocket and see if it records this as a walk. Our closest pillbox is where the railway starts to bend round to the left as it crosses the River Avon. But that would be the 3rd pillbox we view today, rather paradoxically. First thing we need to do is walk up this little no-through road towards the village of Freshford. Then we'll drop down to River Avon, and we're going to have a look at 2 pillboxes very close to the first 2, and then we'll start walking alongside the River Avon, hopefully get a side-on view of that pillbox just along there, about 1/4 mile. You may gather I've become fascinated with this Stop Line Green. It's almost like an invisible line, and I liken it to something like the Prime Meridian or an equator. I mean, they're theoretical abstract lines, aren't they? Although they're very important for timekeeping and navigation, just as this would have been very important for defence had it been used. Sounds like there's a train going by. We passed that in the siding just before we turned off the Bath to London Main Line onto this Avon Valley. I dug out some old Ordnance Survey 50,000 scale maps, the pink covered ones, and typical of Ordnance Survey, this little walk I wanted to do was right down in the very corner of each of the maps, so there's a heck of an overlap. Plus the fact I don't think my eyesight would cope with navigating off maps. So what I've done, I'll show you as we start walking, I've actually gone on to Ride with GPS, done the overlay for OSM Outdoor, and then just saved that as a walking route. That way you've got a start to finish walk. You can just zoom in as you need to. It even gives you the street names. That's looking back down at the station, about a 3-minute walk away. Now we're intersecting the main road that goes through the village. That van's just come down from the A36 probably. If we turn left here, it's a short sharp drop down to the river level. Wow, gosh, look at the valley open up there. Really looking forward to this walk actually. Temple Court. Was there a temple here once upon a time? I don't know. I've got the Garmin Edge 150 Plus in my pocket. It seems to be picking up the distance. It's on a road ride setting. I guess when I put it on Strava I just changed that to walk. I don't know. I've never ever logged a walk or a ride on Strava. Here we are, down at the river level. Just round the corner of a big pub. In fact I think this is part of it. And there's the bridge there. Spoke to you there recently. Yeah, this is the pub, the inn at Freshford. There's a couple of people just crossing the bridge. Just over there is our second pillbox we're going to visit this morning. Walk right by that. But the first one is where I showed you recently. Just as the road bends round to the left along the riverbank here, there's one that we can go and have a look inside. I've got my head torch as well today. This tree line here, the edge of this field's course of the River Froome. There's the pillbox. So just to recap, that's the hamlet of Sharpstone there on that really steep hill. Stop Line Green had come over from the Weller Valley up over Limply Stoke Tongue and dropped steeply down through that village. There was two on the way down that hill, one near the bottom and one actually on the riverbank along there a few hundred yards. And then this will be the next one, which is paired up with one just along there. Let's wander over, have a look inside this time. I said last time it looked muddy, but it wasn't, because the ground was frozen and frosty. This morning it is muddy. As I said before, from a distance it looks in really good condition. Then as you get a little bit closer up, you realise the outer layer is starting to be forced away from the reinforced concrete layer inside ivy. You see it's pushing that out. It's already pushed the bricks out from here. Right next to a fast flowing river. Looks like it's on a reinforced concrete plinth. Big crack up there, look. Okay, we'll go inside. I got here last time, I thought, damn, I've been and left my torch in my saddlebag over there. So I've remembered it this morning. So I've got my head torch, you can probably see, it's casting a beam. I've also got the camera on its low light setting. So I've been experimenting with that. I've been reading up a little bit about these structures. That's not a seat, that's a support for the Bren guns which would have fired out there. So these were designed for small arms. Lots of firing ports, apertures, to give it maximum field of fire. Big supports, I believe, those for the Bren guns, so they could swivel on their axis. Gosh, look at all this coming apart. Not going to touch it too much. Come back soon. I like that. And then we're back out again. Now the other one at the foot of the hill is just along from the Freshford mill, and that Freshford mill is what you can see, that big white screening where they're doing lots of renovation work. So now we're going to head back towards the village and then turn right at the river crossing, and then we'll go and visit the partner pillbox to this. I mentioned in one of the videos, about 2 down below this, that these fortifications were built very, very quickly between June and about August, September 1940. And me being me, with my investor's hat on, I just wondered what the cost was really. Trying to calculate the costs is actually quite an interesting story in itself. So I'll share my research. So from pillbox number 1 today, along to its buddy, just along the riverbank, a few hundred yards, that one over there. So a few hundred yards back, just before we get to the bridge, so we're staying on the same bank of the river Froome. There's the next one through there, the overgrown one. You can see why I've come out on foot today. Maybe there's going to be lots of kissing gates here. Puddles of mud. And this is also a bit of a test for when I explore the Green Line going over the Mendips in the summer. I'm probably going to do that on foot. I'm not sure yet. Today's a bit of an experiment to see how I get on, what I'll need, what I'll take, etc. There's the pillbox there. Can you see the brick structure just on the left? The right is got a big brambles bush going over it. When I came here last time, I thought walkers had to stick this footpath, but there is actually one along the riverbank, which is what we're going to do today. So we can go and have a quick look at this one, possibly get inside. Yep, looks like it. Light on then. Low. Lean down low again. Gosh, this is quite a tight fit in this glass wall entrance. Gosh, less debris in here actually. No smashed beer bottles or cans. Can't see any graffiti. There is more mud in here. You can see footprints of people who've been in there. Same pattern. The aperture, little ledge, rest. The support, the swivel for the Bren guns, then that's a support for the stands of the Bren gun. Gosh, very, very muddy in here. But apart from all the debris, much the same as the last one. The entrance stroke exit seems to be much lower. Whether it's sunken or not, I don't know. So you can see there is actually a footpath around the river. So that's pillbox number 2, the companion to that one over there. And the next one we're going to hopefully look at is the one I've only been able to spot from a distance, and even that was on the 3rd attempt. That's one underneath the arches just past Freshford railway station. We're much closer to it than I thought actually. I just heard a train and then saw it going over that structure there. I think that's the viaduct. We're going to walk alongside and get some views of the pillbox. So much closer to this second one than I thought actually. Looking back at the village, here's the river Froome on its last few hundred yards before it flows into the river Avon, and then just after that confluence it goes underneath that viaduct there. I can see the railway line there going onto an embankment over a single arch bridge. That's right, we looked at that from the Kennet and Avon Canal over there. So we're here there's the river Froome, there's the railway embankment, and just behind the railway embankment we cannot see it because the line of sight blockage would be the canal before the valley starts sloping steeply that way. And I can definitely see the outline of the pillbox from here. We're not going to get to it because it's on private land, but this is a much closer view than last time. I've gone over to my phone camera. The video on that zooms in much more, up to about 5 times magnification, I think. The pillbox is just behind that sheep that's walking along by itself underneath that first arch. I'll try and put a yellow arrow on the screen now. If I try and put my finger in front and point it, you know what will happen? The whole focus would change and the background would go blurry. Again, I'm back on my phone camera. I'm going to zoom in to 5 times magnification. Now you can see it. Very obvious brick structure underneath that second arch from the left. Here's the train coming. So you've got the pillbox underneath that second arch to the left. You've got the confluence of the 2 rivers. And here's the train coming from the Bradford on Avon direction from the right, heading down towards Freshford or Bath Spa. Going over the pillbox now. Oh, I can really see why this is such a popular walk. And if you park out there, you can do these wonderful walks, end up back at the pub. There's a community cafe in Freshford as well. Just look how beautiful it is. You can see how high the river is. That tree looks like it's in the middle of the river, doesn't it? There's the course of the railway coming along. You can really see the bend of the river here actually. Oh, that's a really good side-on view of the confluence. You can literally see it going into the River Avon up there. I thought there was a train coming by. Look at that big transport plane banking steeply through the valley. So here's the confluence. Gosh, this is going to be a fantastic view. Now here is the confluence. This V almost in the landscape seems such a relevant point for the Stop Line Green, because it had been following the course of the Somerset and Dorset Railway off the Mendips, then ran alongside the Wellow Brook, which itself runs along underneath the Somerset and Dorset Railway. Then just before it got to Midford, it climbed over that big hill there, up over Midford Hill, Limply Stoke Tongue, dropped down over that steep hill through the hamlet of Sharpstone. You can just see a few buildings on its hillside, came down, followed the course of the river Froome, and this is where the Froome flows into the River Avon. This is confluence. So the River Avon is flowing in this direction, right to left, from the Bradford on Avon direction. Underneath the bridge, where that pillbox was, underneath the second arch. Then it'll bend round, flow into Bath, then flow through Bristol, and then its confluence into the Severn Estuary, stroke Bristol Channel, is at Avonmouth. The whole purpose of Stop Line Green was to form this defensive frontier around Bristol, to make it a last bastion, keep it open for supplies and protect its port to Avonmouth. So this just seems such a relevant point. Meantime, we've had 1, 2, 3 pillboxes, so we're halfway through our quest for today, and we're going to head that way and going to start walking alongside the River Avon towards Avon Cliff and Bradford on Avon. More walkers, and then we'll hopefully get a side-on view of that elusive pillbox that I couldn't see last time. You can see all the hill waters flowing down across this field into the river. Turning into a hardcore path here. Oh, look at that memorial to someone's beloved dog, Tess. 11th to the 10th, 06 to the 8th of the 8th, 22. dog gone. Oh wow, lovely memorial. Welcome to Avon Cliff Wood. This lovely kissing gate, been painted up. This is what I'm navigating on. So it's the OSM layer, open source mapping I think, on Ride with GPS, which is my preferred mapping platform for my bike rides. But can you see, unlike an ordnance survey map where I'd need binoculars to just see it at my age, you can zoom in, look, even get the street names. That was Station Road, look. So there's pretty much where we are, look, the confluence. Then we're going to run alongside the River Avon here. That grey broken line there, that's the railway. But just on that corner there, where the footpath bends, we should hopefully look over on the other bank and see that, we should hopefully see that pillbox that I couldn't find the other day. So here will be the next two pillboxes. This is just on Google Maps. This is the overlay of all the fortifications where somebody's put the blue pins in. So that's the one we're going to try and look at side on. Then we'll walk along to Avon Cliff, get up on the aqueduct, go and have a look inside that one by the car park. I zoomed in on Google Maps so you can see the pin there. The green line, if you can see it, the very thin green line above the blue pin, is the Kennet and Avon Canal footpath. I zoomed in on Google Earth and you can see what looks like a turf covered roof. So, oh, maybe that's it. And then I found this walking article. I'll put a link to it in the description below this video. And it's got a side-on view. Look, you can see it's clearly underneath the railway bank. And there's another photograph. Just to be very clear here, these are not my photographs. These are from an article. That's hopefully what we're going to see along here somewhere. So we're in a woodland for wildlife, old and new. Avon Cliff Wood is a rich mosaic of new and ancient woodland, river meadow and community orchard. The edges of the wood are being left to regenerate naturally so trees can gradually spread out into the surrounding fields. And we are here, aren't we, just down from the confluence. So we're going to walk along there. As the railway bends round on that curve, can you see the Kent and Avon Canal? Round about there will be where we're looking across. Hopefully see that pillbox just in front of the railway embankment. And then we'll carry along here, along to the Cross Guns pub, go underneath the aqueduct, climb up onto the canal path, go up and have a look at the, what will it be, the fifth pillbox today, right on the bend of that canal there. And then we'll head back over the aqueduct, probably have a little bit of lunch there, and then carry on into Bradford on Avon for the sixth pillbox and also the Anglo Saxon church. Oh, this looks lovely. Really is nice. I can honestly say I've never been along here before. I can hear a train pulling away, so it must be Freshford railway station over there. I can just see the lights coming through the trees. There we are. That's one of the trains we got down from Bath. That's just pulled into a Freshford. Sounds like there's one coming the other way as well, actually. You can clearly see the railway bank along there. And I can see what looks like the edges of the water treatment works over there, so I think we're rapidly homing in on the other pillbox. So what we're looking for is a pillbox between us and that railway embankment, the other side of the river, the other side of that field. Oh, these woods are lovely. I'm loving this. I would recommend walking this rather than trying to get a bike along here. I wouldn't have ridden it anyway because it's a footpath and, you know, legally you're not supposed to ride on them, but it would have just been a hassle getting across all these gates. You wouldn't be able to ride through this even if you wanted to, and you shouldn't anyway because it's a footpath. So this section of the Green Stop Line I would say definitely is a walking section. At the end of the last video I said when I got on Avon Cliff Viaduct and I was looking back towards Bath, the way I was about to head, I thought I saw through my binoculars the pillbox, And so I thought, hey, there was a bridge I remember going under, and there was a road going down the riverside, and I thought, great, if I go down there it'll probably take me to it. I don't know if you can see, there's a green building and a yellowy brick building there. I came along, got down underneath the canal, started coming down the riverbank, and I just ended up at sewage water treatment works and a fence you just could not get through. And I think it's on the other side of that fence, the other side of the works, which is where we'll be looking across at the pillbox. There's the edge of the woods, nature reserve, alongside the river, and they're all starting to bend round and merge. And there's the pillbox, I can see it from here. And I can just see the structure of the Avon Cliff Aqueduct over there. So that's what I'm heading for. I'm going to go up and get on that. The far left hand side of it, where the car park is, overlooking the railway station. Go and have a look at that pillbox. That'll be number 5. Meantime, here's number 4. So I'm at the edge of this field. It slopes down into a very high river, and there's a corresponding field the other side. The far end of that is the pillbox. So it's got a wig on. Then there's that greyish line there, which is the railway embankment. Then there's another brown defined line along there. Just beyond that would be the canal and its towpath. From here it's just so obvious why I couldn't see that last time. I roughly knew where it was, but there's no way you're going to see it from up there. You can see there's a couple of people there walking along the riverbank, dog behind them. So there's no way there to see that from there. It's well camouflaged behind that railway embankment. Just the whole point of this defensive line was to use embankments, rivers, anything that could slow down the progress of tanks. So we're going to follow the river along. When we get underneath the aqueduct, we're going to do the zigzag curly whirly up onto it. That's a great shot, isn't it? There's the pillbox. You can just about see it from the train, certainly not from the canal. When they're covered in moss like that, they almost look like a face, don't they? Because I can see 2 definite apertures there, dark, and then it looks like it's got hair. It looks like a face, doesn't it? Gosh, that river's so high. Look at these trees. It gives you an idea. They look like they're in the middle of a river, don't they? Well, they are today, but they're not normally. There's a wooden kissing gate at the other end of the Avon Cliff Wood. Now we're climbing up, slightly rising from the river level as we approach some roads and the village of Avon Cliff and the aqueduct, where we cross the river and the railway and get on the canal. Welcome to all the new subscribers who've joined recently. Hope you're enjoying what you're viewing. Long-term viewers will know I sometimes wear glasses, but I often wear contact lenses. I just find them better suited for outdoor activities, and I feel more comfortable in them from a kind of vain personal perspective. But when I was in Paynton just before Christmas, me and Linda spent the week down there, and we rode on the Train of Lights, which is an old heritage steam railway, and it's all done up at night. It's a fantastic pre-Christmas treat. I had my head out the window, and I think a little bit of ember or something hit one of my lenses and maybe forced it in a little bit, because I haven't been able to get it in since. It's been 2 months now, and it's clearly not an eye irritation, it's a lens damage, I think. So I'm booked into Boots Opticians to have a check-up and hopefully get some new contact lenses the day after my birthday in a few weeks' time. So hopefully be back in contact lenses within a few weeks' time. Definitely climbing gradually. I can see we're coming up some buildings, so there must be a road or a track we're about to intersect. there's the line of the canal there. That's come really quick. In fact, I can see the picnic site from here. Here we are, road access around this house. Looks like we're about to join tarmac just along here. There's a great shot, isn't it? Looking down at the river, the railway. I don't know if you see that long blue slither up there, line of the canals, people walking along there, just about to emerge now. And now we're going to intersect it up here. In fact, I can see the arches of the aqueduct already. This is going much quicker than I thought, this walk actually. I'm used to gauging distances and time on a bike. Avon Villa. Yep, and here we are. It's a tea garden there. Gosh, hadn't spotted that wall box there before. So there's the towpath of the canal. That's where I came along from Bath, this side. And if you remember, did a big curly whirly underneath the arch here. Then we'll curl up to get to the other side. So I'm walking up towards the Cross Guns, which is a popular pub here. It's got a riverbank pub garden, and I'll show you that garden's in flood. Just hear the roar of that weir down there. There's the original stone structure of the aqueduct. That's where we're heading actually, where we went to on the last video, the country park, Bradford on Avon. First up, go and have a look at that pillbox at the end of this viaduct. Can you see? There's the pub, lots of seats outside it, then it slopes down to a beer garden. There's a few steps down to what looks like a decking area. That's actually flooded, it's even got an orange life-saving ring there. The picnic site I said I camped at years ago. So just at the end of the river crossing part of the aqueduct, the original aqueduct, look down there, you can see that big gap. It's a drop of about, I'd say that's 4 or 5 feet, river gushing down there. So there's a few trees that have got stuck as well. That old building there with a modern addition to it, cantilevered over it. There's Avon Cliff railway station down there. And then this is what would have been a later Victorian addition to the aqueduct, where they wanted to build a railway along. So it's a 2-part aqueduct, original river crossing, later Victorian railway crossing. There's a station down there. Looking down at the station. That big left-hand curve back towards Bath, the other embankment. And there's the pillbox I want to go and have a look at again, and also see if we can go inside it today. So when I came on the last trip, when I cycled, I rode into Bradford on Avon along the canal that way, where that tower is behind the pub, and that's what we're going to do, walking there today. Then I came back along here, this road which just suddenly stops. That was really, really nice. And it just ends up in the car park, really, the station for walkers. It looks like there's a barge parked up next to the pillbox. You need to respect people's privacies. Lots of walks going off here, as you can see. This will be pillbox number 5 today. Do you know, I don't think we're going to get in there, are we? That is a little bit too low. That's a lovely shot, isn't it, from this side of the canal. The moorings here, fishermen, lovely smell of wood smoke. This pillbox will be the companion of that other one along there that we've looked at about a quarter of a mile back that way, on the other side of the canal, the other side of the river and the other side of the railway. That's a great shot looking down at the aqueduct, isn't it? A couple of swans coming across. You can see the brick wall there, the little green picnic area where I wild camped years ago, then the old stone balustrade over the original structure. So part 1, part 2, later edition. We're going to be heading back over there, bending round to the left, then we're going to follow the Kent and Avon Canal in through this steeply wooded valley. You can see all the houses up there. We're going to head into that country park, finish the Stop Green line at that pillbox in the country park, and then after the country park we're going to go into Bradford on Avon, round the back road, and we're going to end up in Church Street or Church Road, and we'll go to this Anglo Saxon church. I'm really looking forward to going in there actually.
Did you know that?
3-carriage train stopping at Avon Cliff Halt. You need to be in the front coach when you stop here, whichever direction you're going in, because that's the only carriage they'll open the doors. Can you see the orange lights on the side? That's indicating the doors are open in that front coach only. There it goes towards Bath. Going from this newer part of the viaduct, even that's 150 years old, I expect I'm more, into the old part, the river crossing. And we're going to bend round to the left behind the pub, behind these few buildings, and we're going to walk into Bradford on Avon. You can take a road up there, really steep, on that line along the top of the hill. That'll take you back down towards Freshford. Gosh, even in the middle of the winter on a Monday, this is quite busy, very popular. You can see why. And now it's going to be canal tow path into Bradford on Avon. So you can see it's come along that way, done an S shape. I imagine that cyclist is going to pass us shortly. They're going to turn right there, do what I did the other day. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. They're going to go down underneath, probably going to come up here. They may be passing us shortly. We walk along here and then it straightens out again. Right. My Garmin seems to be tracking me okay. It says 3.10 miles. I think the entire walk is about 4 miles. So that makes 3/4 of the way through, doesn't it? Just continue going along here till we get to the outskirts of Bradford on Avon, and as last time we drop down by the Tithe barn into the country park. That's when we're going to see that back through to pillbox. That'll be number 6. This time I'm going to continue over the railway and then bear around to the right and come into then I'll be coming into Bradford on Avon on the left hand side, the northern side, and that's where the Anglo Saxon church is. I'm really looking forward to going to see that. I love really old ancient churches. Probably the best one I've ever been to up to now is at Anglesham. It was an old historic church there. It's redundant now. It's down a no-through road near the source of the River Thames, and there's a famous person, I can't remember his name now, who kept it from being modernised in the Victorian era. It's got all the old medieval wall paintings in there. So Anglo Saxon, that's pre-Norman, isn't it? It says it dates from the 11th century, although they believe there was one there at that site from as early as the 600s. There's a train there, looking down, bit of a flood there, the river, see the railway embankment on the other side, loads of trains going by, lots of squirrels, magpie, lots of bird song in the trees over there. When I came back last time, do you remember as I left Bradford on Avon, I sort of said I'm turning left to stay on the low ground, just the other side of the railway embankment. If I'd carried straight on, there'd been up a big hill there. Just seen a car coming down. It's not particularly steep, but it's a grind and it really takes it out of you. So I kept that as flat as possible. This is also a practice walk and navigation and kit wise what I'm going to need for when I get my bus pass and I start doing some walks. I want to do some with Linda. I also want to do some history walks by myself. I don't want to bore my partner with my interest in history, but we're definitely going to have some days out on the bus in the coming months and years. She's already started. She's had her bus pass for nearly 2 years now. I love that big tree falling into the canal. It's got some red traffic warning tape around it. Red and white striped hazard tape. We're very close to the point where we turn left off the canal embankment, head down to the river level. I can see the arches, that bridge that we're heading for over there. In fact, I can see the green fields of the country park there. And I think I can see the gap in the trees and the steps down to it along there. So we're nearing the end of the canal path walk now. And we drop down into the country park by the Tithe barn. Then we're going to have a look at the 6th and final of today's pillboxes. There we are, where that lady in the dark coat has just turned left. That's the steps down into the country park there by the 14th century Tithe barn. I've really enjoyed this section of the walk. There's the barn, down these steps. Wonder what the river crossing will look like today. It looked very high the other day and we've had a lot more rain since then. Or whether it never gets any higher than that level we saw the other week because of the sluices. Might stop and have my picnic here actually. I bought a seat mat out as well so I don't get a wet backside. There's the bridge we're heading for. And the pillbox. Gosh, the river looks so high here, it really does. There we are, back to that little causeway in the bridge. swans last time. Today it's a dog with a branch. Very narrow little footbridge. Then more of an ancient track really over here, wider bridge. Gosh, look at the flow of that river. Oh, there's the two swans over there. There's our pillbox number 6, that's the back roost. Let's go and have a look at the river first of all. You can just hear the noise of the water as it's hitting the arches, splaying out, getting all the twirling eddies. Looks like some kind of war memorial over there in the garden of the boat club. Just stone and a wreath of poppies. The train just about to go over it. It's that very low rail bridge with the pillars. Now it's just about to pull into Bradford on Avon railway station. That's where I'll be getting the train back from in an hour or so's time. It doesn't stop at Freshford on the way back, so it's 2 stops again. It'll be Bath Spa and Oldfield Park. Here we are, back at the pillbox. Lovely seeing that dog up there. Throwing the stick in, it goes and gets it. Might be able to shine the torch to it. Oh no, I won't. No, I won't go. I was thinking of putting the camera through that, but it does say it's a bat roost, so it could be hibernating bats in there at the moment. So I'll go and have a look at the structure, but I won't put a camera or a light through the apertures because it is a designated bat roost. You can see the door's been bricked up to deny access. Gosh, look at all the ivy. It's very dark inside that one. Line of sight, and just see a bit of light coming through one of the other openings. And they sealed the opening with bricks by the look of it, rather than a steel door. So the only access in there is for wildlife, bats in particular. Here we are then, outside the 6th and final pillbox today, which would be that one there. And we started these two there, just below Freshford station. Then that's that one we saw at the confluence of the two rivers, the Froome into the Avon. Then that was the elusive one from last time there, on that bend. You could only see it side on. From the other side it's not visible because of the embankment hiding it line of sight. There's the one on Avon Cliff Viaduct, and there's this one here. Now, according to Major Green's book, there was some anti-tank defences, some bollards in the car park of Bradford on Avon railway station. Whether they're still there or not, I don't know. I've tried to research it, but I cannot find any other reference to it whatsoever. So the best thing to do is just go and have a look. I'm getting the train home from there anyway. There is the overlay of all the blue pins, giving you the crescent shape of the green stop line. And I did say I'd talk to you about the cost. I wondered how much it cost. It must have cost a lot of money to have built so much so quickly, and it seems the actual financial cost is almost impossible to calculate. I'll explain why. It says there is no single precise financial figure for the construction of the GHQ line in academic records. Researchers like William Foote, and it gives the link there, there's a citation there, the book it's referring to, note that calculating a specific monetary cost is impossible for several reasons unique to the 1940 emergency. The first was non-monetary labour. Much of the labour was provided by the Royal Engineers and Infantry divisions, whose wages were already part of the army budget. Then there was resource and opportunity costs. Academics emphasised the cost in terms of resources and military readiness rather than pounds sterling. It lists the material cost. The line consumed massive quantities of concrete and steel. At one point, the demand for concrete to build pillboxes, roughly 28,000 were built across the UK, many on the GHQ line, was so high that it created shortages for other military sectors such as airfield construction. And then it lists strategic cost. Historian David French argues that the true cost of the GHQ line was the loss of training time. Regular army units spent the summer of 1940 digging ditches and mixing cement instead of training for mobile warfare. This left them physically exhausted and tactically unprepared for the manoeuvre warfare they would have faced had the Germans invaded Operation Sea Line. Then there's a summary table. So I'll put all these slides up because I can see that there's the reflection of the camera here. It might be difficult to read. So in summary then, really very hard to put on a financial cost because they used army and home guard labour really, that's being paid for already. But there were operational and opportunity costs which I just mentioned. So there it is. Last time I veered off to the left, ran alongside the railway, then crossed it and then continued back to Avon that way. Today, can you see we're going straight on? There's some gates there. We're going to cross the railway. You can understand why the trains are honking their horns. They know there's several crossings coming up. It's letting people like me know there's a train coming. Then we're going to head up there. That should take us into a side street into Bradford on Avon, and eventually into Church Road. And then we're going to look at the Anglo Saxon church. Just need to be very aware that there is trains in the vicinity. I can hear them honking their horns. There's definitely one down that way. Oh, it's coming into the station. We've got plenty of time. So yeah, great caution needed there. Little tarmac alleyway from these lovely stone walls. Probably tell by my breath. Starting to walk up quite a steep incline here. So much bird life here. So much bird song. Lots of other wildlife, I'd imagine. Here we are. Bradford on Avon, it just sudden ping appeared. Just hear that train that we saw the lights coming into the station. It's actually pulling out, so we had several minutes to cross. Can you see this little gravel path? It's turning into tarmac. And this should take us up to Church Road. I did consider having the sandwich and the drink that I bought on the aqueduct, crossing over to the other towpath, sitting in that picnic site, the one where I said on the previous video I'd camped there many years ago. Just a bit too early. I've only just checked my phone now and it's 11:59, so it's coming up to midday. So I think the church or somewhere in Bradford on Avon would be a better idea for a picnic. I don't really want to get the phone out yet because I roughly know where I'm heading. See if I can find the church without getting Google Maps up. Gosh, a lot of water gushing down off the hills. Literally I'm right on the edge of a steep hillside. There we are, I can see the signpost, Saxon Church. This is called Barton Orchard. Here we are. Don't need to get Google Maps up. Saxon Church. There's the chantry. Just down this little paved alleyway. Of course, this feels like going back in time, doesn't it? Following the signs of the Saxon Church. We've come into the churchyard of Holy Trinity Church. The Anglo Saxon Church, I understand, is just round the corner, St Lawrence. Loads to get Google Maps up because I roughly know where it is. So as we leave Holy Trinity Church, St Lawrence should be over there, and there it is, I believe. There's the Anglo Saxon Church, much older church. Holy Trinity Church, founded 1150. There's the much older Anglo Saxon St Lawrence Church. And this is what I've come to see, the Anglo Saxon St Lawrence Church. This does feel so old. That one's quite old. It's lavender by the look of it, leading into a very narrow doorway. Of course, this really is going back in time, isn't it? Narrow archway, look, into a very dark, what do you call this, a chancel or a chapel? Gosh, this really is different to Norman churches, isn't it? Norman and Victorian churches. So small. Wasn't quite sure what to expect, but the sizes thrown me a little bit. I didn't expect it to be quite so narrow, although it's very tall. What have we got in here? Font. So this will be the north entrance, won't it? The north door. Gosh, so close to that other one, look. There's Holy Trinity. North door of St Lawrence Anglo Saxon Church. West window, south door, facing east. Very little light in there. Just one window by the look of it. And you're going down into the chancel or chapel to the altar. Gosh. As you can imagine, Bradford on Avon is a tourist destination. And also this is one of the best preserved Anglo-Saxon churches in the country. So I've put 26th of the 1st, 26th, Bath Somerset, Church Crawler, Andy C. Because I'm a bit overwhelmed by I think I'd rather put my name at the end rather than beginning. This is wonderful. church. It really is not. Well, this really is a gem. Gosh. Lovely seat here, which I think is a good place for lunch. You can see I've bought my camping kneeling mat out. Actually, I thought that'd be good to sit down on. Stop me getting a wet backside. Squash sandwiches. Just marvellous St Lawrence Anglo Saxon Church in Bradford on Avon. There's rain forecast this afternoon, and I can almost feel it in the air. I've got about 50 minutes before the train I'm booked onto. I'm fairly flexible, I can get whichever one I want actually on the ticket I've got. So I'm going to finish my lunch here, enjoy it, just looking over that church behind the camera, behind you. So my summer cycling tour, I've referred to it a couple of times. I'm actually going to be going over to East Anglia. I'll maybe ride out to a picnic bench and have a bacon sandwich and discuss that with you, maybe on either the next video or the next couple of videos coming up. Tell you what my summer plans are, but it's all based around this book by this wonderful guy called Andy. I'm going to be tracing some ancient pilgrim routes. I didn't realise that pilgrimage was actually banned by Henry VIII. I didn't realise, as well as dismantling and dissolving the monasteries, Henry VIII also banned pilgrimage. I was unaware of that until I read this book. And so I'm going to be following lots of old ancient pilgrim routes through East Anglia. I'll tell you more about my summer plans and that pilgrimage over a bacon sandwich on a picnic table. It'll either be the next video or soon after that one. Anyway, I'm going to finish my lunch here, and I'll also finish the video here. I think I've got about half an hour or so before the rain comes on, so the timing's been perfect. Hope you've enjoyed coming along. As usual, thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.